Uganda, Gntv Bless Sports, and my name is Jasper Barijo Muhinda. I start with reminding you that Rwampara for Christ Crusade is coming up. Make sure you join us. Whoever is in Rwampara and the surrounding areas, you should join us at Chineni Playground before the end of the month. We shall have a 3-day and 2-night gospel conference, as well as a crusade that will be taking place in Rwampara. See you, Rwampara people. My people, I expect you to be there so you can get healed and you can get all the blessings from Bishop Dr. Cyrus Taibwa, Bishop Nicola Taibwa, Nafbag, and King of Kings Church, loving God, loving you. Let's do this like we always do it. We begin with what happened last evening within the GREENPARK Premier League. Last night there was exclusive action, very tight close calls, and you could not expect to have such results like it came out to be. We have pictures and pictures of the action that took place last night at the GREENPARK Stadium, where Beijing Real Estate were taking on the Gist Band, the semi-finalists as well as runners-up of last season in the GREENPARK Premier League Open category, were tussling it out in their second night out against Beijing Real Estates. But this game ended as stalemate. It really ended as stalemate, where Beijing could not even secure that long lead into a win. Coach Fahad was behind the net, giving instructions and giving all the directives to his boys after taking the lead through Henry within the opening 10 minutes of the game. However, all we saw was a late equalizer scored by Coach Patience, who normally coaches the Shigist team and now is playing for the Gist Band in the GREENPARK Premier League. Everything was into an hour, like you can feel when a relief is sighed by a friend besides you. That's how it felt like for Gist Band as they were securing that or salvaging that point at the end of the full time. Referee Angela replaced Joshua for that very tight game, but gave several warnings to Gist Band players as well as Beijing players as they were becoming a bit rough, or you can say hard tackling. That is how it went down within the GREENPARK Premier League last evening, and I can guarantee you that Beijing were desperately looking for a point just after training for all these days since losing their first game against a team that gave them a challenge. That was TK in their first game. So pictures of the action last evening are, as you can see on your screen. That is how the teams were salvaging themselves a point. That game ended a 1-1 draw. It ended a stalemate, where we saw Henry striking fast for Gist Band, as well as Coach Patience who struck late in the closing minutes. They had several attempts, like you see Shafiq Kam was trying to secure a point for Gist Band, but they could not yield into efforts. They had two ladies in that game, one Aisha Spider, who came in for Desire Ayabaziwe for the first half. Then Desire came in for the second half to also take part within that striking game. You could clearly see how efforts the Abijona brothers, that is Abinoa and Abijona, were also involved in that game. Our very own Waswa, Hannington, and the likes of Dembele were all involved in that game. We saw what it means for the two teams who know how to play football. Were locked into a tight schedule. That is Shafiq for you, trying to cross for them so that he could make that attempt to give them a lead, but all it ended into was a stalemate. That is the Gist Band football team. They played like they never played before. They thought it was a simple challenge, but it came out to be so tight. They had Eddie, they had Muchu, they had Bruno, they all had Chamberlain, as well as Coach Patience, Shafiq Kambugu. You could clearly see them. They had a Coach Patience who salvaged for them a point at last. So that was the team. We also have such a picture coming in there from the Beijing team, as they were also prepared to take on that mantle. Dembele, as he is known, he took several shots. That is their picture. Dembele, Henry, Matthew, that is Abijona, Andrew. They also had Thomas They had Bossa, they had Abinora, they had Alozi, and in fact Aloy and Akandwanaho started on the bench. That is the team photo that came through from that very team. That is their team photo guest band. You can clearly see Boambare, you can see Eddie, Coach Patience Chamberlain, you can see Shafiq Kambugu. He's well known to be a UPDF member. He's doing very well when it comes to football. You can clearly see Bruno, shot number 4. You can as well see Muchu behind there. Everyone was in that game trying to salvage a point for the guest band family, but unfortunately things turned out to be like they played for their halftime under a 1-0 loss, but they salvaged a point. That is the Beichini group. That is a Beichini team. You can clearly see Abinoa, then Abijona, see Thomas, see Henry Dembele in that picture, shot number 19. Then Spider, that is Aisha, shot number 24. Matthew in goal really took this. You can see one Bossa behind Dembele. You can see Akandwanaho behind the goalkeeper. Everything was in order for them, not until they lost those important points at the last minute, courtesy of that Coach Patience goal. So still talking about the same team's matches, we are going slightly different from the GREENPARK Premier League. We can take you to the same team, that is a guest man, who had what we call institutional tour of games. Rentanga Farm Institute was on a tour here in Mbarara over the weekend. They played against Mbarara City. They lost 5-1, and they played in the evening against Guestband Football Club at Riverside Stadium somewhere in Bishop Stewart University, but they still lost. That is Rentanga Farm School still lost 3-1. The goals were scored by Edison as well as Innocent. We have details of that game at Riverside. We talked to all their coaches. We talked to the coach for ladies. We talked to that is Coach Salma for guest band. We talked to also Coach Innocent for those ladies who was putting on. Actually, I wondered how he was putting on a Manchester United jersey just before the girls who were putting on the institution jersey. I think that was not in order, but we move on. That is the guest band team. I can tell you we have from the far left, we have FUFA, who was also their left back. We have Arinda squatting in front, then Ejang, we have Desire, also we have Sharifa, then Mastula at the far right on the front row. Then we have also Barbara behind standing. We have Coach Patience. In fact, she doubles to be the coach of that team as well as a player of that team, so she is a coach player. Then we have Swifa from those standing behind. Then we have Jacinta. We hosted Jacinta here in our program Sports Zone, and she scored both goals for Shigist to win that very game. We have Samantha there behind. You could clearly see as well as their goalkeeper standing in that behind row. So that was the Guestband She team that played against Rentanga, a female football team. Remember, they are preparing for the institutional national games that are coming up this very month. I think that was one of the practice matches, the practice tours they were onto, so that they could gauge and see what exactly their teams look like, so that they can prepare for the upcoming institutional tournament, for the institute tournament that is coming up, the national team. Now that is the Rentanga Farm She team that actually lost to Shigist 2-0. You could clearly see how those young ladies were determined. Actually, they were determined to take on the Shigist. Their goalkeeper was as bright as you can hear, because she played better. She saved a lot, though Shigist had a number of chances wasted. KDB, that is a one Jacinta, had a number of chances, actually about 4 of them, but she could not convert them. Ejang also had a trial, she could not score. We also saw a very powerful shot from one Swifa in the second half as they were shooting this side of the forest. Those of you who know Riverside, so we saw Shigist putting on a very very, very good performance. We talked to all the coaches, we talked to all their coaches, and we had an interaction with them to take us through what that was intended for, as well as how they reacted against those games. So we can now hear from those coaches. We have Coach Salma, who talked to us about how she is preparing the Gistban football team for the side of boys, and they are preparing also to begin the 4th division league season that is almost coming up in September. We talked to Coach Patience. We talked also to Coach Nwamanya from the other side of Rentanga. He just intended to put on Manchester United jersey. I think he loves Manchester so much, and if we have the awards ready, we can listen to them and see or hear or know what exactly went on that very day. All right, I think those, okay, we can as well see those pictures. Preparational, I think, team talk from Coach Salmas. She was preparing the boys. We had those interviews. I think we shall have them later on, but that is how it went down at Riverside. That is a team that had Edison, that had Bruno, it had you can see Bambale. Clearly see everybody was prepared to take on that very game. I think that is one that we can know the Gistban is preparing for the next 4th division football tournament that is coming up later in September. You could clearly see that is Coach Salma for you talking to the boys. Let's hear from the coach.
To evaluate ourselves for the first time in national different institutions competition that are going to be held in Kavera Maida. We want to talk and see the friendly match so that we can know our areas of strength and our areas of weakness. And according to how we have seen, areas of weakness have been spotted, and we are going to improve on that. Then a message to the community members. I said TVET is technical vocational education and training. These are girls who are pursuing vocational studies. So even though they are trying to acquire their skill that we need them in the future, we also engage them in co-curricular activities. Because people get some scholarships through sports, through academics, through different areas. So those are some of the things we do. But the much of it all come to Rentanga. Agriculture for development for God and my county.
Ikiganiro kya friendly game eno gye tufunye twagala tukinyira abawala baffe nga bakyali fit nga tupreparinga next season egenda otandika very soon. So nekirala nga twagala tucreating a friendship wakati waffe n'abawala abalala bonna bonna waweerwe abamanyi omupiira. So ne community yaffe eno okugikipinga nga tuli active mu kapiira k'abawala.
Okay, olina message yonna gy'oweereza abawagizi ba Gist ne Gist family?
Abawagizi ba Gist band mwe tuwagirako naye nga message embaweereza nti musubiremu ekinene nnyo season eno tuba twetegeka bulungi nga bwe twali twetegese season yagwa naye katwongeddemuku kaso musigaye nga mutuwagira bulungi bijja.
Ba opponents bamwe mubakubye goals bbiri zonna zibedde omuntu omu Charles Sima Jacinta. Omulabamu ki mu myaka egijja mu maaso ng'alabika okuba omuteebi?
Omwana gwe tulina oyo Jacinta amuteebi mulungi naye nga kyetumusuubira mu maaso nakyo kinene nnyo n'ensonga omutindo gwaliko kati ssaawa zino gusinga te bwe yaliko luli so yayimprovira kinene nnyo kyekimala so kati tumusuubiramu kinene nnyo.
Alright, webala nnyo webala coach.
All right, that was Coach Patience speaking for the She Gist, where she trains those girls, and she was saying they are preparing those girls for the next season, especially when it comes to FUFA Women Regional League, as they were preparing. They have a number of players, the likes of Jacinta Charisima, the one we call KDB, who scored twice. She was actually saying that she looks at her as a generational team player for the next years. We wait to see how things will go down there within the FUFA Women Regional League. Away from that, there has been actually soccer clinic in Gulu. I will tell you what Solitilo Bright Stars together with their Japanese partners have decided to do, especially to help the children from those families that were affected by the LRA rebels way back in time. Now they have decided to take soccer clinic to Gulu so that they can help to nurture talent within those young boys and girls who come from the families that were severely affected by the LRA insurgency in Gulu. Through soccer, football unites us, soccer unites the world. So through soccer, they tried to create peace. They tried to make these young boys and girls forget about their harsh environment where they grew up from. But this time around, they have decided to embark on this project so that they can uplift the talents from those families and from that northern part of Uganda. So the soccer clinic in Gulu took place last evening, and the partners of Solitilo Bright Stars, who also happened to be the Japanese, they were there. They took football to the grassroots. You can see those pictures as girls were being trained and they were given an opportunity to play some football. And you know that Uganda, since time immemorial, was looked into LRA insurgencies, and they could not have time, they could not have peace, they could not even have that gut to play some football. But these families have now been helped. They actually have been touched. You can clearly see hundreds and hundreds of young boys and girls stand up for the soccer clinic, proudly brought to them by Solitilo Bright Stars team together with their partners, and they were looking forward to create a footballing environment in northern Uganda. So those are the pictures that we got you from the soccer clinic. However, they are saying that they will keep on this project. They will keep on this project going until they discover what we can call talent, total talent from this northern region. So that is what we gathered for you from the soccer clinic in Gulu. I think this project is very good for Ugandan football. If all the partners within Uganda's Southern FUFA Premier League could do so, we might have a generational footballing nation later in the coming generation. I'll have to tell you about the FUFA Super 8 competitions that are actually are going to commence for a second leg in the coming weekend. We saw the action earlier in St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende, where Vipers were the hosts. Now they hosted NEC, which ended into a goalless draw. We saw in that game Paul Muchurezi appearing for the very first time in that green and black jersey for NEC Football Club, as he has signed a 2-year contract for NEC Football Club. However, when he visited Chitende, the game ended into a stalemate. They could not salvage, they could not secure a point from there within the FUFA Super 8 competitions. That is the NEC football team squad before they started that very game. Now we also have the Vipers team as they prepared to take on a NEC in a game that ended into a stalemate at home. I think this is quite challenging for Vipers. If they could not secure a win against NEC at home in St. Mary's, how will they now cope up with the return leg that's coming over the weekend at Philip Omondi Stadium in Chitende? So that is the Vipers SC team. You can clearly see Alan Oke was in there, Milton Kalisa was there, Hilary Mukundane was also there to represent. You can as well see the boys were very ready. And elsewhere, Team KCCA faced a setback. Actually, it was a slight setback just after they could not secure a point against Chitara. They beat KCCA 1-0, and I can guarantee you that it will be a hard, very hard hill for them to climb. It will be very difficult for them to climb against the one Chitara in the return leg. So those were the results that we gathered for you from the FUFA Super 8, the competitions that actually commenced on 2nd, that was on Friday. Then we also saw on Saturday 2 games on Friday. Maroons drew also against Bull, that was a 1-0 draw. Vipers drew against NEC, that was a 0-0 draw. And Chitara on Saturday 3rd, they actually beat KCCFC 1-0. The Cranes Select team, they beat SC Sevilla, the reigning champions of the Sometimes FUFA Uganda Premier League, lost. Sevilla lost with a goal to 2. That was at home for the select team. Now they are preparing to get into a return leg against our very own Uganda Crane select team. Pictures of the select team, and you could guys see our very own, the likes of Gift Fred. Gift Fred used to be a player at Terrazo Antares Football Club here in Barara, but now he's a national team material. We had the likes, you can see the likes of Mugurusi, Joseph Akandwanao was a starter in that very game. You could clearly see how these guys lined up before that very game. You could also believe that this team slightly won. However, Chitara had put on a very, very great performance against these boys. I mean, Sevilla had put on great performance against these boys. We wait to see how Sevilla will turn up against the select team. And now Vipers will also turn up against their tormentors in the first leg. That was NEC FC in the return leg at Philip Omondi Stadium in Lugogo. So that is how we can describe the FUFA Super 8 competitions that took place over the weekend. At halftime, the Crane Select were all locked into a 1-1 draw at halftime for Uganda Crane Select. Ivan Ogwang scored in the 29th minute, as well as Alex Odongo, who scored in the 25th minute for Sevilla. That was how tight it was for the first half. Now we also need to talk about what exactly is going on in the FUFA TV Cup, that is the round of 16. We had those games. We had a number of games across the weekend, which also commenced on Friday. Mengo Senior School also hosting Chibuli, and that game ended 0-1. Chibuli taking a lead from the first round, or from the first leg of the round of 16. Now we wait to see how it will end in the second round. Then earlier on Saturday, we also saw Nabumali High School tussling it out against Sebeite Grace, winning that game 3-0. Nabumali takes the lead from the first round. Ngano High School also salvaged a win against Motorere. That was a 2-1 win at Ngano High School Kabohe Stadium. Lango College also drew 0-0 against St. Joseph's College Laibi, whereas Gombe SS and Namirango College were also locked into a tight contest where Gombe SS takes the lead with 2 goals, and St. Charles Ruanga Koboko played against Kabarega SS, winning that first leg with 2-0. Then on Sunday, earlier on Sunday, we saw games between Ginger College and Ginger SS. That was a derby, too close to call. That was a derby between the Ginger schools. Now Ginger SS takes the lead against Ginger College, but Ginger SS will be visiting Ginger College in the coming weekend. We wait to see how that one will go. And Kako SS was playing against Mpanga, and they drew 0-0. That is 0-0. We wait to see how the second leg. Remember, the round of 16 second leg will be played on 9th up to 11th August, I think, which is the coming week. So we are waiting to see how everything will go down within the FUFA TV Cup. Now, as I take you, the Uganda Crane Select team is taking on the morning session today. I've gotten a very, very early morning picture coming through from Kampala, as the Uganda Crane Select team is training. Now that is Gift Fred for us, training there with the national team. You can as well get to know that this team is preparing to take on the AFCON qualifiers 2025 in Morocco, where they will be playing against that is Congo Brazzaville on 9th September. We wait to see that game at Nambole. That is the team, that is a consolidated team training early morning. You can see our own Joseph Akandwanao, Gift Fred, Sally, that is Thierry Sally, just besides Joseph Akandwanao, that is Alpha Thierry Sally. We wait to see how this team will impact. We wait to see also how we shall play against the upcoming Guinea on 9th September. Away from that, I can take you to Olympics briefly. We know Joshua Cheptegei and this country have won a gold medal in Paris, that is in 10,000 meters, but Joshua is expected not to defend his 5,000 meters goal that he won in the last Olympics, simply because there are some of the reasons that we can disclose. One, fatigue. Just after that 10,000 meter race, his body needs to rest, and it's a shortest period of time that he has also to defend that title. We are not yet sure that he's going to run, but reports coming in there from Paris in France clearly indicate that Joshua will not be available to defend his 5,000 meter gold that he won in the last summer Olympics. We can now tell you that Joshua Cheptegei, who talked to us immediately after winning the gold, said he was also preparing to defend his gold, but he's not sure if the body will allow. We were expecting Kiprimo, Jacob, Joshua Cheptegei, as well as one partner. I think I've forgotten just a name before, but I think there were three. We had to see, it's Oscar Chelimo. We expected to see Oscar Chelimo, Joshua Cheptegei, as well as Jacob Kiplimo to represent Uganda in the 5,000 meters of gold for Olympics. They were all to vie for that gold as they ran earlier in Tokyo. They won, Cheptegei won that one, but they represented Uganda in 3-0. You can say it was a threesome representation for Uganda. Now we wait to see how this will go down in Paris. That was the Blaze Sport. I think this time around my brother Edgar is coming back to take us through the last segment of this show, that is the whole sport. Kindly be reminded that Rwampara for Christ Crusade is coming. It will actually have a 3-night prayer and a 2 open day crusade. So we wait to see how things will go down at the end of this very month, from I think 29th to 31st. We shall be waiting there. My Rwampara people, endeavor to come. Let's show up. Let's show us some obedience to God. We shall be getting huge deliverance. Massive player. Actually, we wait to see how Bishop Dr. Cyrus and Nicola Tayewa will be taking us through that crusade. Remember, we shall have gospel artists, the likes of Lady Diana, as well as evangelists, gospel evangelists, the likes of Apostle Gibson Twetise and Pastor Joshua Israel. All will be there. Please have a good morning. I remain Jasper.
It's been really a great journey with, of course, something great cannot be notwithstanding the challenges and the injuries that I always encountered, and it is through those challenges that it has always shaped me to become more resilient. I learned to be more accommodative of challenges, because if you want something sweet, if you want to do something great, it will cost you, and it will really take you through different paths. And I was aware about the journey that I was actually pursuing and going after, and I knew that at one point I will be faced with the injuries, sometimes losing your morale and self-esteem. Sometimes you don't even, there are days where you don't believe in yourself, even if you have done the right thing. But still, it's about trying to fight and be like, tell yourself that you are the best in the world, and you have to do it again and again. So those are some of the challenges that we go through that people don't see. People just tell you, go and run for us, but they don't know what really takes someone to go through a race and, like, win. Let's just say a medal, just a medal. But to win many medals is not really easy. It's about, it takes the grace of God.